Hi, this is Siddiquee Rabbani presenting challenges on regulation of medical devices, solutions suggested for LMICs. That means low and medium income countries. Our team comprises of myself from Bangladesh, Rosana Rivas Tarazona from Peru, and Michael Cheng from Canada. It's an international mix. Firstly, I'll present the medical device scenario in the low-income countries. High-risk and high-tech medical devices, they come from reputed international manufacturers, so quality is ensured. On the other hand, low-risk devices come from reputed or unreputed manufacturers, mostly imported, but some may be made locally. Examples are ECG, ultrasound, blood pressure, stethoscope, laboratory devices. Now, not all of these devices have the required quality, and some may lose calibration over time. So, focus of this presentation are these low-risk devices. Now, challenges are there on regulation in LMICs, which I'll mention here. There is the absence of a culture of science and technology. User awareness is lacking even among doctors, medical technologists, and of course, home users. There is absence of people with appropriate scientific and technological capability, and biomedical and clinical engineering are still not well established. And regulatory bodies are not established in many countries. Again, if established, persons there lack required knowledge, expertise, and wisdom. And it is also impractical to establish laboratories with expertise to test all medical devices. Besides, there are complex socio-economic situations that lead to corruption. So, regulatory regimes often do little to ensure quality. Now, what is our goal? Our goal is to ensure quality of the medical devices under existing situation. And what is the bottom line? The bottom line is that the quality products should reach the target users and should also ensure safe and effective use of these devices throughout their lifetime. Yes, they may be okay at procurement, but loses quality with time, calibration losses happen over time, and warm and humid weather and power line abnormalities also contribute to these further. So maintenance issues no less important than procurement, but there are no regulatory bodies on this. Therefore, we need to rethink on the scope and nature of regulatory regimes, and we may need a paradigm shift. Now, as for solutions for LMICs, we are thinking of alternatives to a regulatory body. With a colonial background, anyone in authority steps into the shoes of a colonial ruler, and this needs to be changed. So there should be facilitators supporting as friends, not regulators with authority. Just think about the parent-children interaction. As a parent, how do you deal with your children? You facilitate them. You find out their strengths and weaknesses and guide them. So we need to think in the same way for all the bodies in the system of the state. So what we are suggesting is a possible organ which would be rather be named Medical Device Quality Assurance Body. Now, what would be the role and scope of the assurance body? It has to find innovative ways to ensure quality of medical devices in view of local educational, cultural, and technical situation. It's not the same for each country. And also, it has to create user responsibility through awareness. And who are the target population? Doctors, biomedical engineers, medical technologists for procurement at hospitals, clinics, and for maintenance, both at user level and at specialist level. And also general public has to be targeted for devices for home use. And going further on the role and scope of the assurance body, what to do for low quality devices. And we think they should do is to encourage users to report underperforming devices, identify sources, randomly procure devices from the market, run tests with help from academia if needed, and periodically publish list of products with brands, underperforming ones. It is not a regulatory step, but cautionary, allowing a producer to improve. And in case of deliberate defiance or incapable producers, file cases to the court. And how to create awareness. There also the assurance body can contribute. They have to prepare relevant materials both in print and video formats in local languages, but we prefer bilingual to keep technical terms in English. These should give guidelines for quality, scientific and technical specifications, and how to assess the above with a minimum of facilities. They also need to carry out regular public campaign through media, seminars, etc. Here, World Health Organization may play a big role. WHO can help all the assurance bodies in the LMICs in preparing the materials mentioned in the previous slides, assigning a mix of international experts from both high-income countries and LMICs. Experts in each individual country then modifies the above according to local conditions and prepares the bilingual version. And we think the indigenous technology development and manufacture, this should be the most important solution for LMICs. Without this, majority of global population will remain ever deprived. Just to give an example, in Bangladesh, 65% of 170 million people live in rural areas, are poor, have no quick access to distant hospitals with medical devices. Now, 420 suburban hospitals were established since 1980s, even they are 5 to 10 kilometers away, but they have X-ray, ECG, ultrasound scanners, but most of these remain out of order. Private hospitals in cities can afford to maintain high-priced imported equipment as they can retrieve costs from high-income people benefiting only a few percent, but the majority remains deprived. And also, regulatory obstacles are very high to indigenous technology-based manufacture. What are the reasons? It's a colonial legacy. Regulatory authorities do not have faith in local products, and the persons there do not have necessary expertise. And even in a country, mostly there are no experts other than the developer or the manufacturer himself or herself. And for local products, stringent requirement for facilities and for industries These conditions have been borrowed from the high-income countries, which are not possible in the LMICs. Ironically, for imported ones, no requirement for production facility, and these are clerically done based on foreign certification, easy, and the procedure is cheap. I'll just show some examples of what we did in Bangladesh over the last few decades. And these will highlight the challenges. So since 1988, we made the first computerized EMG and evoked potential equipment on the left. Then we may also developed online portable ECG that could be used for telemedicine. We made dynamic pedograph for foot pressure measurement of diabetic patients. But we could not market these properly yet. Only doctors with requisite expertise and interest and courage, they are using it in very few numbers. And we could only market some products which we sell as wellness products, such as this iontophoresis equipment for excessive sweating, muscle and nerve stimulator for physiotherapy, and pulsed electromagnetic field therapy for pain relief, etc. And also, we developed telemedicine software and online devices like the improvised electronic stethoscope, online digital ECG. But again, we had to implement in rural areas on our own from Dhaka University. Recently, we innovated some products which are unique in the world. On the left is a non-invasive gastric emptying monitor for critically ill patients, electrical impedance based, and on the right is a positive pressure canopy to prevent hospital-acquired infection of critically ill patients in ICUs, particularly burned patients. And we are not taking any patents as a philosophy to benefit the deprived global population. And we teach technology details to experts in LMICs for making their own, and grants are welcome for this venture. Thank you very much. Let us make this single planet nice to everyone through empathy.